I'm Maddie Anderson.
I'm Savannah Johnson.
I'm Rachel Tosh, and we did our presentation on pharmaceutical promotion. Our research question was, how does promotion of highly addictive drugs in the media affect or contribute to the addiction rates of pharmaceuticals?
Okay, so what are pharmaceuticals? The Webster's Dictionary definition of pharmaceuticals is a compound manufactured for use as a medicinal drug. In the past several years, the amount of prescription drugs being sold, taken, and abused has increased tenfold. Here's why and how.
Research conducted from the International Journal of Risk and Safety in Medicine found that in 2002, 1.9 million people were taking prescription drugs for non-medical use. 2 years later, 3.1 million people were taking prescription drugs for non-medical use. Then in 2011, over 52 million people were taking these prescription drugs for non-medical use. The same article found a connection between addiction and rising social media and quoted a very aggressive marketing and promotion campaign. The influence of media. As pharmaceutical companies' revenue rises, so does abuse and addiction rates. As these things rise, so does the influence of social media and its presence in this generation. Raise your hand if you have or have ever used an Instagram or a Twitter account. Put your hands down.
Okay, so for example, earlier this year, Kim Kardashian, who reaches over 42 million people on Instagram and over 32 million on Twitter, posted a selfie promoting a prescription drug that supposedly helps combat morning sickness. Kardashian later got in trouble with the FDA for not posting the possible side effects and negative outcomes of this drug in her paid promotion.
Now think back to how many of you just raised your hands about who uses an Instagram or Twitter. This is only one of many outlets that pharmaceutical companies use to promote prescription drugs.
This post by Kim Kardashian is just one example of how easy it is for the public to be influenced by media into purchasing and consuming these addictive drugs.
Research and development versus advertising in the media. Well, some may argue that the pharmaceutical companies are good for the economy because of the billions of dollars they bring into the U.S. annually. The truth of the fact is that the money they are making are not going into the positive aspects of this industry, such as research and development, but rather into sales, marketing, and promoting more prescription drugs.
Okay, so this figure shows that 10 major pharmaceutical companies and it compares the amount of money that is spent on promoting and research. And then, so as you can see, only one of the pharmaceutical companies actually spends more money on researching than promoting drugs, but even then, it's only a fraction more of a spend.
The rising cost of pharmaceuticals. As the frequency of promotion in the media increases for prescription drugs, the cost does as well. While looking at the increase of pharmaceuticals, the price increase of pharmaceuticals, one will see the concept of inelastic pricing. This is the idea that if people need a product badly enough, how much the price increases tend to be less objectionable to the consumer. We see inelastic pricing happening in the pharmaceutical industry as prices have over tripled between 2005 and 2013.
Because many people rely on prescription drugs to allow them to live their daily lives, the price increase of these drugs seems unreasonable to many.
Solutions. Okay, so to avoid the increase of abuse, addiction, and death due to pharmaceuticals, several options have presented themselves. Firstly, doctors need to make sure a patient is suitable for the prescription being given to them, and having a more in-depth consultation, it allows the doctor to get a better idea of what kind of drug the patient needs, so that they would have a less risk of addiction. And secondly, pharmaceutical companies need to research addiction rates and the negative outcomes of the prescription. So as you can see from the other figures, pharmaceuticals obviously have enough money to research and test more drugs to make them safer and to promote them to people in need of them and who would benefit from them, from the type of prescription being offered and promoted.
Thank you.
Oh, and then our
the group decide to include Rachel's perspective lens or conclusion into the overall presentation?
So Rachel's lens was futuristic, and so she came up with a lot of good data and information about how if something isn't changed, what effect this is going to have on our future generations, as well as like teenagers, the older generations. So she really brought that into play, and that also helped us come up with solutions.
Thank you. Savannah, give one specific way that your thinking changed as a result of learning about Maddie's findings.
Maddie's lens was economic, and I didn't realize how much money was actually being brought in from these prescription drugs being promoted and how good it is for the economy. So I thought it was more of just a very bad, like we should be researching more and this is actually really bad, but actually my thinking changed learning about Maddie's lens.
Thank you. And last, Rachel, in the future, what change would you make to your group norms, and how would you expect that to improve the team presentation?
I would say more preparation, just to be more prepared and confident, and maybe have more ideas of the different lenses, like maybe incorporate different lenses that we